Don't worry, your eyes aren't deceiving you. I'm just practicing a headstand. I learned how to do this. Oh, I'm sorry. Private Diary doesn't hire stunt doubles. Take 2. I learned how to do this in India. Hi, I'm Melanie, and I'm here to tell you my story. Have you liked the video yet? I'm gonna check it. Thanks! High five! Let's get it going. My dad worked as a journalist for National Geographic, and we traveled all over the world. I saw Victoria Falls in South Africa, admired the ancient city of Machu Picchu in Peru, and befriended this handsome guy on the island of Madagascar. He's my pet now. I named him Pascal, after the character from Tangled. Last year, my father and I lived in India. I immediately fell in love with the country. That's where I started doing yoga and learned how to do incredible things with my body. But one day, Dad said we were going back to America, and I would have to go to a public school there. The most annoying thing was that he didn't tell me why. I was disappointed because I really liked traveling. I had no choice but to pack. Check out Pascal's cute suitcase, though. After living in a tent and a mobile trailer, moving into an ordinary house was refreshing. However, I didn't like the school right away. I was used to studying outside and taking Pascal with me everywhere. There were so many rules at my new school, I had to make cheat sheets to remember them all. What do you mean I can't bring my pet? Pascal is my friend. What do you mean there's no curry for lunch? What? I can't even meditate in the middle of a lesson? My classmates and teachers looked at me like I was an alien. I felt like one and certainly didn't fit in. One day, I was doing some stretches at recess when a girl called Angelina came up to me. She was the most popular girl at school, so I was surprised when she spoke to me. Melanie, you are such an unusual girl. I like that you're not afraid of being different from everyone else. Do you want to hang out with me and my wildcats? That's what she called her friends who followed her everywhere like shadows. Angelina turned out to be nice, though. I started hanging out with a bunch of popular girls. I told them all about my travels around the world, and they taught me how to be cool. I was getting used to my new, ordinary life, but one day it was turned on its head. Pascal got upset if I left him alone too long, so one day I brought him to school in my backpack. Stay here, okay? No such luck. He got out of my backpack and went looking for adventures. I saw him climb into an air duct and immediately rushed after him before the teachers could catch him. Luckily, I was flexible enough to squeeze into the small opening. There you are. Come here, we'll get in trouble. I took Pascal and I was about to go back when I heard familiar voices below me. Angelina was gossiping with her dumb friends in the bathroom. Melanie is so gullible. Does that weirdo really think we want to be friends with her? Those witches started discussing a vile plan to trick me and make me look like a fool. Ugh, wildcats? They were vile hyenas. I knocked out the ventilation grate and jumped down like a hero from a helicopter. The girls were stunned. I showed them my chameleon and they ran out into the hallway screaming, "Ew, I'm gonna get warts!" Who was laughing now? I felt like $1,000,000 until the principal found out about what had happened. And then my dad heard about it too.
Melanie, why on earth did you bring your chameleon to school and scare your classmates?
He started to grumble and scold me. Why would I do this? How could I do that? Dad and I used to be best friends, but as soon as we returned to America, it was like he had been replaced. He turned into an ordinary, strict adult and gave me less pocket money than ever.
Apologize to your classmates tomorrow and try to get used to your new life.
Apologize? Not for the world. I hadn't done anything wrong. I hated my new school and its stupid rules. So I decided that I wouldn't go there anymore. Dad was never at home, so it was easy for me to skip classes. One evening, I was doing yoga in our backyard. I was standing in the downward-facing dog pose and minding my own business, and then, bam, I got hit by a ball. Can you imagine? The local kids were playing baseball. They guiltily asked me to give them back the ball, but instead, I decided to join them. I'll show you how it's done. I stood in the batting position. When the ball flew at me, I swung the bat and realized that I shouldn't have put my back into it. The ball flew over the field and into the open window of our rich neighbor's house. Why was I so unlucky? One of the boys grabbed his head and said he was done for. It turned out that the ball was autographed by a famous baseball player, and the boy had taken it from his father's office without permission. Don't panic, champ. I'll go get it. I went up to this house and started banging on the door. However, no one opened it. One of the neighbors said that the family that lived there had gone somewhere for a few days. The boy burst out crying and said he'd be grounded for life. What could I do? I saw a cat flap in the door. An ordinary person wouldn't have fit through it, but that was easy for me to pull off. I decided to sneak into the house and find the ball. However, as soon as I got inside, I saw a very handsome guy. I don't even know which one of us was more surprised. He dropped the backpack he was holding, and no wonder. It wasn't every day that a stranger climbed into your house through the cat flap. I quickly said that I was not a thief and I was only there to find the ball. I knocked, but the neighbor said that there was no one at home. The handsome guy's name was Rob. He said that he hadn't gone on vacation with his parents, and he hadn't heard me knock because he was wearing headphones. We got to talking. He was very friendly. Not only was he not mad at me for breaking into his house, but he also helped me find the autographed ball. I was about to leave when Rob stopped me.
Melanie, I was impressed by your flexibility. You squeezed through that cat flap so easily. Cirque du Soleil would be lucky to have you.
Pause, please. Have you heard of Cirque du Soleil? I'm a huge fan! Those guys combined circus art, incredible costumes, and music to create fantastic shows. Okay, let's continue. Rob said that he and his friends were street artists. Some of them were mimes and living statues. They performed in the street, and passersby gave them money for it. Living statues? You don't know what that is either, huh? Let's Google it together. Apparently, some actors put on makeup and entertain crowds by pretending to be statues. Sounds like fun.
Do you want to join us? You could earn good money.
Thank you, but performing isn't for me. I just do yoga, that's it. He said that if I changed my mind, I could always call him. We exchanged numbers, and I left. Maybe that was just how we hit on girls. I kept pretending I was going to school for a while. As soon as Dad left, I would come back home and play computer games, meditate, or read. I'd grown used to studying on my own when we were traveling, so I didn't see anything wrong with what I was doing. At least I no longer had to hang out with dumb girls like wildcats. Ugh, ew. My relationship with Dad kept getting worse by the day. He was annoyed by every little thing I did. Soon enough, the principal called him and told him I hadn't come to school in a while. Can you guess what happened next?
Melanie, how could you be so irresponsible? You need to go to school to get a good job in the future.
I don't like it there. I want our old life back. Why did we even move here? Dad got angry and confessed that he'd lost his job. And that was why we had to stop traveling. I also found out that we had serious money problems. That was why Dad was so gloomy all the time and took away my pocket money.
I'm looking for a new job, but I haven't had any luck so far.
He took my console and said we would have to sell it. Wow, what was next? Would we sell Pascal to the zoo? I was fuming all through the evening, but then I realized I was being selfish. My father did everything he could to get by. I decided I had to help him until we got back on our feet. Of course, I could go back to school like my father wanted me to, but I had a better idea. Hi, Rob. This is Melanie, the girl that paid you an unusual visit. Is your offer to join the troupe still on the table? Rob was happy I called and suggested we meet in the park. I met the rest of his friends there. One of them was portraying a statue so masterfully that I believed he wasn't even alive at first. They gathered quite a crowd. And then I showed what I was capable of too. Check this out.
Wow, what a showstopper!
I asked Rob what his talent was. He looked embarrassed and said that he didn't really perform. He had another important task.
I'm, kind of the manager. I find crowded places, divide the money we earn between us all, and watch out for cops. They often shoo us away. If you aren't afraid of adventures, then welcome to the team.
I've gone diving with white sharks. I don't scare easily. That's how I joined the troupe of street performers. Every day, we performed in parks, shopping malls, and even the subway. Everyone called me Snake Girl because of the amazing things I could do with my body. I was popular and attracted a lot of spectators. Dad thought I was going to school, of course. I didn't like deceiving him, but I was making good money. And the most amazing thing was that I didn't need an education to do that. Of course, we got into some trouble as well. Sometimes we had to hide from security guards and cops. But it was fun. The living statue guy just froze in place, and the cops ran past him. One day, a huge crowd was watching our performance in the shopping center. All of a sudden, I saw Angelina. She recognized me too and started filming me and giggling. Hey, weirdo. Smile. Everyone at school will die laughing when they find out you've become a street clown.
Scram, wild kitty, before I set Pascal on you.
But that wasn't even the worst of it. Dad walked into the shopping center and saw me. I pretended to be a mannequin, but I couldn't fool him. He got really mad and dragged me home.
You're embarrassing me.
Actually, I've been earning a lot of money, unlike you.
Don't you dare say that. I'm doing everything I can.
Right. I'm too old to believe in fairy tales. We were fighting the whole way home, but then we saw something weird. There were policemen and some people standing outside Rob's house. We got closer and found out that his parents had come back from their vacation and discovered they'd been robbed. That was suspicious. I called Rob and asked him why he hadn't said anything about it, but he told me he couldn't talk and quickly hung up. The next morning, I found out that Dad got a job as a security guard at my school, so I couldn't keep skipping classes. We went to school together.
Now I'll be keeping an eye on you.
That was the last thing I needed. Please, kill me now. In class, Angelina and her friends showed everyone a video of my performance, smirking. Look at the snake girl in the circus arena.
It made my blood boil that instead of hanging out with my cool friends,
I had to spend time in that toxic environment because of my dad. I was about to snap at Angelina when I saw something weird in the video. While I was entertaining the crowd, Rob and the others were rummaging through the pockets of the audience. What the heck? Were the performances just a distraction for them to steal from passersby? Wow! So that's why we'd been earning so much money. How could I be such a naive moron? Now I realized that Rob wasn't actually my neighbor. He must have broken into that house to steal something while our real neighbors were away. Damn it. I wanted to call that bastard and demand he surrender to the police, but he was a slippery guy, so he would probably say I was their accomplice and knew everything about what had been going on. I didn't want to be arrested, so I decided to outsmart those lying thieves. I called them and I asked them to come to my school after closing. Then I told them I knew the truth about our performances. Don't worry, I just went in. I just think there's a lot more we could be doing.
Wow, you're a riot, Melanie. I shouldn't have been worried about your reaction. What do you suggest?
I told them there was money kept in the school for the repair of the gym that we could steal. Then I shook the keys in the air and said I'd stolen them from my dad, who worked as a security guard there, and that I knew how to turn off the alarm. I brought them to my school and led them into a windowless office. The money is here, we just need to find it. By the way, Rob, I'm impressed you managed to break into that house while no one was there. Have you done that many times before? I pretended to be searching for the money while Rob and his friends bragged about their crimes. Those bastards. How could I have ever thought they were the good guys? They were so busy bragging, they didn't even notice I'd locked the door. And then I came up to an air duct and took out my phone. Thank you for your honesty. I recorded everything and will send your confessions to the police now. You don't mind, do you? I quickly climbed into the air duct and got out of the office, while they stayed there and pounded on the door, furious.
You won't get away with this, Melanie.
Dad was working that day, so I went into the security room, told him everything, and let him listen to the recording. I'm sorry, Dad. You were right. I should have been going to school, and I should have been more suspicious of the easy money. Dad said he was proud of me, and then he called the police and handed them the recording of the confessions. Rob and his friends were taken away. I almost got into big trouble. I decided to become a traveler in the future because that's what I love doing the most. But for that, I need to get an education. So I went back to school. One day, I was meditating on the lawn at recess when my classmates came up to me and said they were impressed by what they'd seen in the video Angelina had filmed. It's all thanks to yoga. Do you want me to teach you? I started a new club at school and found real friends. I had been too focused on girls like Angelina. There were a lot of good people at school after all. Soon, Dad found a good job in a publishing house. Pascal and I are very proud of him. Tell me, which countries would you like to visit?